So today, we're diving into something pretty amazing. We're going to look at how that device you carry around every single day, your smartphone, is being turned into this incredibly powerful, portable laboratory for scientific research. It's basically bringing the entire field of ecology right into the palm of your hand. So let's just start with this one simple, but honestly pretty profound question. What if all that complex, super expensive equipment you needed to understand the natural world could be replaced by a single device that almost everyone already has? I mean, that's the revolutionary idea we're digging into. To really get how this works, we're going to follow the journey of a single signal, a sound or a sight out in the wild, as it moves through four key stages. We'll start with the initial capture and follow it all the way to a meaningful, real-time interpretation. All right, first things first. Before you can do any kind of cool analysis, the system has to solve one of the biggest challenges in fieldwork. How do you pull a clear, clean signal out of all that background chaos? And believe it or not, this whole process kicks off with something you already have. The incredibly sensitive microphone that's built right into your smartphone. It's not some specialized gadget. That mic is the gateway for all the raw audio from the environment, which is what makes this tech so accessible to, well, everyone. So, the very first crucial step is noise reduction. Just think of it like a really smart digital filter. It knows how to listen for and then remove all that junk in the background. Wind, distant traffic, you name it. It just strips away the noise and leaves behind the one important signal we actually want to analyze. And the result of that process is, well, it's a night and day transformation. On the one hand, you've got this raw, messy, basically unusable audio. But then, by using these super powerful on-device libraries, like the iOS Accelerate framework, which is built for high-speed math, it turns all that mess into a clean, isolated signal in milliseconds. Now, it's finally ready for analysis. Okay, so we've got our clean signal. Now what? How does a phone actually make sense of it? This next part is all about how we teach the device's AI to see and hear all the little subtle patterns that can identify a specific species or a particular behavior. So the very first thing the AI does is it turns the sound into something called a spectrogram. The best way to think about this is literally as a visual map of the sound. Instead of just hearing it, the AI can now see the sound structure, its peaks, its valleys, its frequency, and how intense it is over time. And this sound map is a total game changer because it essentially makes the invisible visible. The AI can spot these tiny variations in pitch and harmonics that our ears would just completely miss. This lets it analyze the sound on a much, much deeper and more accurate level. Now, from that sound map, the AI then pulls out something with a very fancy name, MFCCs. But don't worry about the name. All you need to know is that it's basically a unique fingerprint for that specific sound. Every species call has its own distinct fingerprint, and this is exactly what the AI uses to identify it. And all of this magic is happening thanks to this incredible toolkit that's running right there on the phone. It's using things like fast Fourier transforms, which is just a fancy math way to break down signals, to create those spectrograms. Then it pulls out those MFCC fingerprints and feeds everything into a lightweight AI model, something like TensorFlow Lite, which is designed to run super efficiently on a phone for that final classification. And the final result? Bam! In literally a fraction of a second, the system comes back with a classification and an incredibly high level of confidence. It didn't just hear a bird. It knows, with 98% certainty, that it just identified the call of a blue jay. But of course, understanding an animal isn't just about what it sounds like, right? At the exact same time, the phone's camera is running its own analysis, watching the animal's physical behavior to get the other half of the story. So for the visual side of things, the system has a whole different but just as powerful set of tools in its arsenal. It's using libraries like PyTorch Mobile and OpenCV, which are built for this kind of on-device computer vision. They let the AI draw boxes around the animal, track key points on its body, like its joints, and ultimately figure out its posture and gestures. And this is really how it all comes together. The audio tells us what the species is and maybe how urgent its call is. Meanwhile, the visuals tell us its emotional state. Is it stressed? Is it calm? Aggressive? Each type of data gives us a different, absolutely vital piece of the puzzle. And that brings us to the final and honestly the most mind-blowing part of this whole process. This is where those two separate streams of data, the audio and the visual, are fused together to create a single, cohesive, and actionable insight. Look, analyzing sound by itself is useful.
Analyzing video by itself is useful. But the real power, the true breakthrough here, happens when you integrate them. It's that combination that lets the system understand the full context of what's going on, moving way beyond just simple identification. Let's just walk through an example of how this plays out. First, a clue comes from the audio. The analysis flags a call, but not just any call. The pitch and intensity tell the AI that this is a high-stress warning call. Okay, that's piece of evidence number one. And then, at that exact same moment, the visual analysis provides the confirmation. The key point tracking locks on and confirms that the animal is showing a known threat posture. So now, both data streams are telling the exact same story. So what's the verdict? The phone puts it all together, the what from the audio and the how from the video, and it synthesizes a complete interpretation, delivering a clear, actionable alert. See, this isn't just data anymore. This is knowledge. So let's zoom out. What does this all actually mean for the future? We're talking about a technology that completely democratizes scientific research. It makes these powerful tools accessible not just for scientists in remote jungles, but for anyone in their local city park. I mean, think about it. What we're really looking at here is a complete bioanalysis laboratory. All the power of sound and visual analysis that once required a truckload of expensive, bulky equipment is now running entirely on the little processor you carry around in your pocket every single day. And that really leaves us with this one last huge question to think about. When the tools for real observation and analysis are in everyone's